Evelyn never imagined that an ordinary afternoon would change her life forever. Under the snow, hidden among broken boards, she found two tiny black puppies, fragile and shivering from the cold. She took them in, warmed them, gave them love, and raised them as if they were her own children. But time, relentless, began to reveal a truth she could never have imagined. Those puppies were not ordinary dogs. As they grew, their domestic traits faded, and something wild began to emerge: strong muscles, piercing eyes, ancient instincts that could not be tamed. Shadow and Luna, whom Evelyn believed she had saved, were actually wolves. And then she realized, with a heavy heart, the original instinct of animals never disappears. The love she gave guided them, but nature called them back. And in that connection between domestication and wildness, Evelyn discovered the power of love, loyalty, and the untamable force of life. Before we continue, we want to know, where are you watching from today? Tell us in the comments. It will be a pleasure to get to know all of you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this story. It really helps us bring more exciting and intense narratives like this. It was one of those mornings when the cold seemed to have a soul. A cold that didn't just touch the skin, it cut through, tore, left the body aching and the heart heavy. Outside, the world was white. No sound, no movement. Only the wind slicing the silence, whistling through snow-covered trees. And inside an old wooden house, forgotten by time, lived Evelyn. 64 years old. Hands marked by work, tired eyes, and a silence that had become a part of her. Since her husband had passed, everything there seemed dead. Even the clock, still marking the hours, sounded mocking. Because, for Evelyn, time had stopped on the very day he left. The walls held echoes of old laughter. The dusty frames on the shelves showed faces that seemed to belong to another life. Her children barely cared. They lived their rushed routines in big cities, forgetting the woman who had once held them in her arms. Evelyn was just a distant memory, a name lost among commitments and distractions. Every morning, she woke with the same thought: another day just like the others. She would get up slowly, light the wood stove, make coffee. The smell was pleasant, but there was no one to share it with. The chair across the table remained empty, a cruel reminder of what she had lost. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, her heart did too. And so Evelyn went on, living without truly living. Waiting for something she no longer knew even existed. But destiny, silently, was already moving out there, beneath the snow, preparing a meeting that would change everything. That afternoon, the sky seemed heavier than ever. Gray clouds descended over the mountains, and the wind carried the distant sound of something different. Evelyn swept the yard with the slow steps of someone expecting nothing from the day, until she heard it. A barely perceptible sound, weak, trembling. It sounded like crying. Not human, but full of pain. She stopped. Looked around. Her heart raced. It had been so long since she had heard another voice besides her own. The sound came again. A low whimper, coming from under a pile of boards near the barn. Evelyn knelt, pushing the wood aside with her cold hands. And there, among the ice and dirt, were two tiny puppies, so fragile, so helpless. Black as night, trembling, with half-closed eyes and little paws stiff from the cold. Her chest tightened. Those little creatures struggled to breathe, yet they still moved, seeking warmth. Without thinking, she scooped them up, one in each arm, and held them close to her chest. Her warmth met their cold. "You're alone too, aren't you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. In that moment, something inside Evelyn broke, or perhaps, was reborn. A spark returned to her tired eyes. Because, for the first time in a long time, someone, or something, needed her. She ran inside, wrapped the puppies in an old blanket, and placed them near the stove. The crackling fire filled the room, mingling with their little grunts, which gradually stopped trembling. Evelyn stayed there, kneeling on the floor, watching. A shy smile appeared on her face, a forgotten gesture, rediscovered without warning. Outside, the wind still cut like a blade. But inside that house, the cold was no longer the same. The days that followed brought a silent, almost magical transformation inside Evelyn's old house. The puppies, whom she had named Shadow and Luna, began to grow stronger. Shadow, the male, was curious and bold, always exploring every corner of the yard and trying to climb the stacked boards. Luna, delicate and quiet, watched everything with attentive eyes, always close to Evelyn, as if she understood every gesture. They followed her everywhere. When Evelyn lit the stove for coffee, they snuggled close to the warmth, wagging tiny, trembling tails. When she sewed in the afternoon light, Shadow and Luna stayed at her feet, alert, as if every stitch was important. At night, they slept at the foot of her bed, silently guarding a woman who no longer knew if she could be protected. Evelyn spoke to them as if they were people, words filled with tenderness and concern. "You are all I have now," and indeed, they were. The house, once cold and silent, began to breathe again. The silent laughter of the puppies filled the corners, and the smell of the fire mixed with their body heat, bringing a feeling Evelyn had thought lost, the feeling of home, of family. Each passing day, she felt the weight of loneliness lessen. They learned to trust her, and she, little by little, relearned to trust life. The world outside remained cold and merciless, but inside that house, there was warmth. There was love. And in that small wooden and snowy universe, Evelyn began to feel that maybe, just maybe, life could still offer her something unexpected. But as the weeks passed, something began to trouble Evelyn. Shadow and Luna were growing too fast. What had once been sweet, playful eyes now reflected an intensity that unsettled her. At night, sometimes, she awoke startled by howls that pierced the walls and echoed through the forest. A deep, wild sound, calling for something she could not see. She watched the puppies during the day and felt a mix of love and apprehension. Shadow chased small animals in the yard, fast and precise movements, and Luna ran through the snow with an agility that did not seem natural for an ordinary dog. Evelyn tried to convince herself they were just special, protective dogs. But the truth became impossible to ignore. There was something wild in them, something that could not be tamed. That instinct, that freedom in their eyes, was neither human nor domestic. One day, seeing them follow a deer through the forest, a shiver ran through her body. Evelyn finally understood what she had long suspected. Shadow and Luna were not dogs. They were wolves. Fear mingled with gratitude in her chest. Fear of the unknown, of the strength they carried. Gratitude because, even wild, they never hurt her. Even fierce, they always protected her. At that moment, Evelyn realized her life would never be the same. And that love can come in the most unexpected forms, even from creatures nature made to be free. Evelyn felt the weight of the truth hit her chest, but surprisingly, there was no rejection, only a strange sense of recognition. Shadow and Luna were wolves, yes. But at no point did they show aggression. On the contrary, every glance seemed to convey something words could not express. Something like, "You saved us when no one else would. Now we are your family." She began to notice details previously unseen. When there was a strange noise outside, the wolves tensed, alert. When the snow grew deeper, they protected her from falls and cold. Every gesture, every step, every howl had purpose, a silent, intense, profound care. Evelyn began to respond to that love with equal intensity. She spoke to them, stroked their thick fur, shared the warmth of her body. Never had there been such mutual trust. Never had she felt such belonging. Even being wild, Shadow and Luna transformed Evelyn's house, heart, and days. She understood that true love doesn't need words or rules. It exists in actions, in glances, in the silent loyalty of those who protect without asking for anything in return. And so, even surrounded by winter and the loneliness that once seemed eternal, Evelyn discovered something she had not felt for a long time: hope. Because sometimes, miracles come disguised as creatures nature made to be free. But destiny, as always, had its own rules. One morning, Evelyn woke to a silence that hurt. The wind still cut outside, but inside the house, Shadow and Luna were gone. The place that once pulsed with life was empty, cold. The warmth the puppies brought, the silent joy, the love that filled every corner, everything vanished in seconds. Evelyn searched everywhere. She called, shouted, walked through the snow covering the yard, scoured the nearby forest, but nothing. Days turned into weeks, and each passing hour made her heart ache more. She sat by the stove, hands clasped, remembering every lick, every tender look. And she felt their absence as if they had taken a piece of her own soul. Deep down, she knew the reason. Shadow and Luna could not always stay by her side. The call of nature was stronger than any bond, more intense than any human love. And even though her heart wished it, Evelyn had to accept that some miracles are temporary. Loneliness returned with force, colder than the winter outside. But in the silence now filling the house, there was also a memory no one could take away. They loved her, and she loved them back. And for that reason, there was still hope, hidden, but alive, ready for when destiny allowed reunions. Then, on a night when the wind roared as if the forest itself wanted to invade the house, Evelyn heard something that made her tremble, strong knocks on the door. Thump! 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 Her heart raced. She grabbed the flashlight, walked slowly, almost unable to believe what it could be. When she opened the door, the scene made her knees buckle. There were Shadow and Luna, wet, covered in snow, fur soaked and matted. But they were not alone. Each carried a tiny puppy in their mouth, as fragile as they once were. The wolves' eyes met Evelyn's, deep, full of recognition and affection. It was as if they said, "You saved us when no one else would. Now it's our turn to take care of you." Evelyn fell to her knees in the snow, tears streaming down her face. She stroked the wolves and the puppies, feeling the warmth return, realizing she had never truly lost what really mattered. That night, the storm continued outside, but inside the house, there was a warmth nothing could extinguish. There was love. There was loyalty. There were miracles life insists on showing, even when loneliness seems eternal. And for the first time in a long while, Evelyn smiled truly. Days later, the house was silent, but a serene silence, different from the one that had weighed on Evelyn before. She sat in her armchair, calm, a slight smile on her lips. At her feet, Shadow and Luna rested with the little puppies, all snuggled together as if they were one family. Their warmth filled the space, and the woman who once felt lost in the world now knew there was enough love to heal even the deepest loneliness. Evelyn looked at the wolves and their pups and realized something she would never forget. True love doesn't depend on species, size, or human rules. It exists in silent protection, in loyalty that does not judge, in care given without expecting anything in return. She smiled again, this time fully, feeling part of something greater, the life, the nature, the miracle of true connection between beings who, even different, recognize each other in love. Sometimes, miracles come in unexpected forms. Sometimes, God sends angels disguised as wolves to teach us that pure love saves, protects, and transforms lives. And you, have you ever had an animal that changed your life just with love and loyalty? Share your story in the comments and reflect on the power of those who love with an open heart.